Have you ever had a collaboration where something just didn't feel right and you kind of just brushed it off and then it ended in disaster? As a model, I have had to really learn how to listen to my gut, listen to my instincts, and most importantly, I really had to understand what my values are. Understanding my values has helped me have successful collaborations because I knew what I wanted in a successful collaboration, and I knew how to tell if we were a good fit for a collaboration. If you have ever wondered what values are and you've been really confused on where to start and how to identify them, in today's video, I am going to show you how to do all of that using artificial intelligence as an assistance. I will also be giving you guys a link to a Notion journal template that you can download to use. The first thing we need to understand is what values are. Values are essentially the principles or beliefs that guide your behavior, decisions, and actions in life. They're like a compass that helps you navigate through various situations and determine what is important to you. Think of values as things that matter the most to you, the qualities you admire about yourself and in others, and the ideals that you strive to uphold. They can include concepts like honesty, integrity, kindness, respect, responsibility, fairness, and many more. Your values shape your attitudes, priorities, and goals, influencing how you interact with others, how you approach challenges, and what you consider meaningful and fulfilling in life. Identifying your values can help you make choices that align with who you are and what you stand for, leading to greater clarity, satisfaction, and authenticity in your actions and relationships. You might be wondering, though, why are values so important in collaborations? To give you an example, some of my top values in a collaboration are communication and reliability. Because I know this, I am empowered to understand how to figure out if that person has the same values as me. So what I do, the first thing that I do is I book a Zoom meeting, and I'm checking for a bunch of things here. I'm checking to see if the person shows up at all. I'm checking to see if they show up on time, and if they're going to be late, if they communicate that to me. If the person doesn't show up at all, that already tells me that they're not reliable. If they're late and they don't communicate anything with me, that leaves me in the dark. And that to me tells me there's a lack of communication. So at this point, I already know that this person wouldn't be a good fit to collaborate with me because two of my values aren't being met. And at this point, I can just end the collaboration without it even starting. And that's why knowing your values is super important in a collaboration. Now that we understand why it's important to know our values in a collaboration, let's figure out together how to identify them. The first thing you'll need to decide is how you're going to record this information. You could record it in something like a notebook with a pen and paper. You could record it in a digital journal with a digital pen, or you can use my favorite app, Notion. Let's go into my Notion, and I am going to show you what prompt you need to first put into ChatGPT to begin this process. So in my Notion journal, I have a prompts section, and there is a prompt to understand how to ask ChatGPT to act as a psychologist. I'm going to break down this prompt really quick so you can kind of understand why certain things are in certain places. So I've specified in ChatGPT the area that the psychologist has experience in so that the psychologist is familiar with the specific things that people in that area experience and what the culture is like and things like that. Identifying what the career is will help ChatGPT really hone in on advice that's specific to that career type, and directing it to give advice tailored to that career will help ChatGPT narrow down how it talks to you when you ask it questions. I've asked ChatGPT to speak to me in a conversational tone because I want it to feel like I'm actually talking to a counselor, like we're having a real conversation. The last thing that I do is to ask ChatGPT if it understands my instructions. The reason that I do this is to really make sure that me and the AI are on the same page with what I asked it to do. So ChatGPT responds by saying yes, it understands, and then it reflects back to me what I have asked it to do. So let's go ahead and prompt it. The prompt I'm going to give to ChatGPT is to compose a list of 30 values for collaborations tailored specifically for modeling, presented in a bulletin list format. Ensure alphabetical organization and provide a concise explanation for each belief, highlighting its significance both on a personal level and in the context of modeling. Consider how each belief influences attitudes, decision-making, and interactions within my career field. So on here, communication is one of my values. I'm going to take this and put it into Notion. So I'm going to click on this little drop-down arrow here and click on core values. So I have a database that I created with values for collaborations, and I'm going to click new here and then paste it. Now what I want to do is to explain in my own words why I think communication is important to me. If you don't know how to do that, I'm going to show you a prompt that you can put into ChatGPT to self-reflect. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me some self-reflection questions to understand why communication is important to me. So let's say I wanted to answer number 8, consider your goals and aspirations. How does effective communication contribute to achieving these goals, both personally and professionally? Okay, so how I answer this question is basically by saying that I value communication in a collaboration because it helps everyone to be on the same page so that there are no frustrations. I don't like being stressed out in collaborations. I value communication in a collaboration because it helps build trust, and trust is very important to me in a collaboration. There's nothing worse than not being able to trust the person that you are working with. So ChatGPT responds by saying, from your response to the question about the importance of communication in achieving your goals and aspirations, it's clear that effective communication is integral to your values for several reasons. Number 1, it minimizes frustration and stress. You value communication in collaborations because it helps ensure that everyone involved understands their roles, responsibilities, and expectations. This clarity prevents misunderstanding and reduces the likelihood of frustrations or stress arising from miscommunication. Achieving your goals requires a focused and harmonious effort, and effective communication contributes to maintaining a smooth workflow without unnecessary disruptions. Number 2, building trust. Your emphasis on communication stems from your belief in the importance of trust in collaborations. You recognize that trust is essential for fostering a positive and productive working environment. Your past experiences with toxic individuals who eroded your trust have likely reinforced the significance of trustworthiness and transparency in your professional relationships. By prioritizing communication, you aim to establish a foundation of trust with your collaborators, therefore creating a supportive and reliable network that aligns with your values and aspirations. ChatGPT explained this in a way that I couldn't identify for myself, which I found really helpful. So what I can do here is, if I just wanted to do this really quickly, I can just copy and paste the last part and then put it into my journal. The next thing you want to do is to really understand how to integrate these values into things like collaborations. So it's helpful to have a list to look at so you really can have a holistic view of what exactly are all of your values. And the next thing you can do is, when you're in situations like, let's say you're in a collaboration, you just had a meeting. What you can do after that meeting is to self-reflect on the meeting. So write down key points of things like how that person made you feel. You know, the last meeting that I had, the person demonstrated a lot of the same values that I have. And that person was very considerate. So things like, if I was talking and she was talking at the same time and we kind of were talking over each other, we would both pause and one of us would be like, no, you go ahead. And she would be like, no, you go ahead. And that to me shows me that she's considerate of my feelings and wanting to make sure that I feel heard. And that's something that I wrote down in my notes. So what you can do after is to kind of reflect on how the meeting went, identify the key things in the meeting of how that person made you feel, what you liked about it. There will be a link in the description below where you can download the Notion template. And if you are new to Notion and you have no idea how to use it, but you want to use this journal template, watch my next video.